This is just an impromptu video. They recently announced that they're going to be reverting Morde's alt buffs, and it just has me questioning what Riot's balance design choices for this champion are. Like, I understand this champion is supposed to be a low elo stomper, a stat checker to plat players. Like, I don't expect or, you know, want him to have a 50% win rate in Challenger. I don't want him to have massive showings at Worlds or anything. I know what Mordekaiser is, but I do wish that they would stop. Like, every other buff for this champion is we've increased the damage that he deals. We've given him more damage on his Q. And it's like, this does not help me in any of the games I play. Like, it gives me some matchups that are slightly easier now, that if I think about it, I can win an incredibly, like, extreme difficulty fight with one more health than I would have. And it's like, I still can't do anything into poke comps. I still can't do anything into comps that have a bunch of unstoppables. An ADC who understands how to position far back just still destroys me. So it's like, when I see Riot and their big idea is like, we're going to buff this stat stick champion by giving his power fantasy, where he's the absolute strongest, more power. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm kind of glad in a way that these buffs are being reverted, because he didn't need 3% more ult stat steal on his ult. Like, that's not what's going to make Mordekaiser any better. It's like, and a lot of plat players and like sub emerald players are complaining because, like, yeah, he's going to be more of a stat stick. He's going to destroy you more if you don't understand what his abilities are, if you don't understand how to play against Morde. So really, you're not solving any of his problems against good players. You're just making him more of a problem for bad players. So obviously they're reverting it, and overall this is going to be a net buff because they're lowering the cooldown of his E. And can we talk about how his E for a second is like the easiest skill shot in the game to dodge? It's like, if you have a dash, then Mordekaiser's E effectively becomes useless. If you have Swifty boots, Mordekaiser's E is effectively worthless. It's so slow. It doesn't scale with speed with anything. So, you're just never gonna hit this against a player who understands how to dodge, unless you like know the ult tech where you put your E over them and then you cast ult to slow them by 99% for like the 0.25 seconds that it takes. But it's like, most people who play against Morde don't understand this, and most Challenger players don't understand how Morde works because they never see him in Challenger. Like, why would you play Morde in an elo where people are good at Riven, where people are good at Mbessa? It's like, the last 5 top laners that were released are absolute nightmares for Mordekaiser to fight. Like, Zahan beats Morde, Mbessa beats Morde, Cassante beats Morde. It's like, apparently Gwen beats Morde. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Whenever I lane against her, I win, but whenever I'm like jungle or in another role and the Gwen is top, the Gwen always gets fed. It's just one of those champions. But it's like, on paper, so many of the champions that they're releasing nowadays just break Morde's ankles, because he's just destined to be a stat checker for plat players. I don't understand, like, why Riot can't get drain tanks right, and why they think it's hard to balance drain tanks. And I understand, like, it's like the touch of a feather, you know, one too many buffs for, say, Aatrox or Vladimir, and they just run over the game. They 1v5, they never die, that sort of thing. It's like, you can make heal cuts stronger if that's the case. The problem with Morde, compared to a bunch of other drain tanks, is that his sustain is directly tied to the damage he deals. The size of his shield is built by damage more than it is by taking damage. And he's not a champion that's supposed to strike first, if that makes sense. So, if you want to buff Morde for high elo, or make Morde, you know, more useful in, you know, elos where people understand what they're doing, give him a tool to fight against things like Caitlyn, against things like Vel'Koz and Xerath that just like zone him for eternity with no chance of you ever doing anything. Like, I'm supposed to blow flash every time because this guy has a poke mage on his team. Okay, yeah, that's really fair. Lord of Death, Iron Revenant, all that shit. I'm just afraid of Zappy Boy because fucking Swag Zareth decided that he's gonna block his dumbass fucking poke mage into me. And let's just talk for a second, like, Riven has been disgusting for months and months, and Riot has done nothing. And it's like in this patch, the same patch that Morde has decided, or Riot has decided that Morde can be, he can actually be a decent low elo stomper for one patch. And Riven is also getting slightly nerfed after months and months of just being this titanic, permaban, disgusting champion. Like, I've been considering not banning Vayne just to ban Riven because she's that much of a counter pick. Like, no, forget Fiora, I dumpster Fiora. Forget Gwen, I dumpster Gwen. Riven is disgusting beyond belief. And, like, that's the other thing, right? If you look at the past couple months of win rate, Morde has been, like, for the champion that's supposed to be, like, low elo Hitler, he's, like, barely 50% until these buffs hit, and now he's, like, 52%, which is, like, oh, he's S tier, I guess. He's a good pick into low elo, which is, isn't that the point? Like, isn't that the point of the champion if you don't want him to be in high elo? If you don't want to, like, give him some cast speed scaling with his E, or, you know, something that allows him to, you know, solidly be a frontline without taking ridiculous amounts of damage. Like, Morde straight up needs something additional added to his kit. His kit is too simplistic at this time. And, like, this is the other thing about balancing Mordekaiser. Whenever people complain about Mordekaiser doing too much damage, or Mordekaiser having this, that, or the other thing, they're complaining about the items he buys. Mordekaiser's power spikes are so locked behind items. It's like when Dusk and Dawn came out, that became the Morde item that you rush. Just because it lets you get your passive up, and your passive is so important. Like, Dusk and Dawn into Liandry's is so ridiculously good on Morde, because it just allows him to use his kit to its full potential. Like, it gives him an extra 2% burn, the Liandry's does, and the Dusk and Dawn just lets you get your passive up on something that would otherwise be dodging you constantly. Like, would dodge all your skill shots. All you have to do is miss a Q, auto, and then hit an E. Or, like, miss an E, auto, and hit a Q. It's, like, so easy to stack with Dusk and Dawn. But even so, it's like, he needs heal cut against some comps. He needs resist against some comps. He needs Rylai's into some comps, which I really hate. I think he should have, like, a scaling innate slow in his kit, so you never had to buy Rylai's. Why not that? It's like, I'm not even saying a big one. Like, I'm not saying give him innate Rylai's. I'm saying, like, I don't know, maybe 0% to 15% based on level, and it goes up with his passive or something, I don't know. But it's like, Riot every single time, if you look through the Morde buffs, their only thought to this champion, their only concept of changing Mordekaiser is, let's give him more damage. And it's like, we didn't need more damage 5 years ago. Our items are doing our damage for us. Like, this is a placebo. This does nothing. Like, eventually they're just gonna have it. They're gonna have it be so that, you know, Mordekaiser's Q now explodes the enemy's router on hitting, and it's like he's still gonna be 54 or 45% win rate in Challenger. It's just, it's not a viable pick because nobody will ever hit it. Like, he's so slow, he's so clunky. It's just, I don't understand the point of the champion if you don't want to let him be a low elo stomper and you're afraid to give him, like, an actual kit that can scale up to, you know, high elo. It's like, genuinely, what's the point? Like, so much of Mordekaiser's power is locked behind his ult already, and your idea of buffing him now is no longer buffing his Q, it's buffing his ult. It's buffing, like, if you're ulting as Morde, you should just win. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's kind of like old Fiora. Like, if you're using that, you just win. It's like Blade Waltz. I just don't understand why people struggle with Morde, first of all. It's like, if you understand the kit, if you understand the limitations of him, this champion is so easy to counter. It's so easy to play around, but people complain about him because, again, and this is a low elo thing, one person will let him get fed, and then he's just a stat stick, because that's the champion's identity, and I'm cool with that. But in order to get fed against better players, you need a better kit. Like, there's no way that you're going to be able to do what you do to, like, a Bronze Darius into, I don't know, a Challenger Tryndamere. Like, if you're into Tryndamere and you don't have bone plating, first of all, you're dumb, you should just go bone plating. But second of all, you're going to die no matter how safe you play. So, honestly, I just think Riot's overall balance choice for this champion is stupid. I think they don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they want anything out of this champion. Because they can't decide if he's a stat stick, a bronze checker, if he's a high elo character. Like, I obviously don't think that he's supposed to be one, but they can't ever seem to do anything but buff his stats, buff his damage, and it's like, I don't need more damage. I either need more reliable sustain that is not predicated on me going first, or I need some way to, you know, scale up my E, or get into a fight more effectively without having to blow flash every time. Because, like, let's just do a scenario, right? Their bot lane in this game that I'm playing is Seraphine Caitlyn. Now imagine their mid lane wasn't Galio. Imagine it was like, I don't know, Vel'Koz, right? I'm never getting into their backline. I'm never touching it. Like, if they're competent players, I'm never going to be able to get in. So, what people need to do at Riot is just give him an into those sort of comps, because it's like you never see the comps that Morde's good at. Morde is a lot like Malphite in a way. It's like, you see a full AD team, you go Malphite, you go Rammus, right? If you see a team with a lot of tanks, you go Mordekaiser. And, you know, that's fine. But nobody ever plays a team full of tanks anymore. It's like, tanks aren't fun to the average League player. People want to play poke mages, people want to play assassins. People want to play things that Morde doesn't like to fight. So it's like, if you just put another tank meta in, Mordekaiser's gonna have a win rate jump up to like 55%. Because it's like, he's so good into certain comps, and he's just so worthless into the average comp. It's like, the champions that people enjoy playing in League of Legends just counter him so hard. So yeah, I'm overall, I'm not happy that these buffs are being reverted. But at the same time, I wasn't happy with getting them either. Like, this doesn't do anything. It's like, I guarantee if they let this buff sit, like, in a couple of weeks, his win rate would be back down to a solid 50%. And do you know why? Because people would understand, like, oh, Morde kills me at this percent. Morde kills me if I stand here. So I'm just not going to stand here. I'm going to play slightly more safe, and I'm not going to let him get fed off me. Like, that's all you have to do to beat this champion at this point, because he is not proactive. There is, like, no world where Mordekaiser is going to be the first person to gank a lane as a jungler. There is no world where Mordekaiser can frontline and do it safely, unless he buys a ridiculous amount of resists and, you know, neuters his own damage, because again, his damage comes from items. It doesn't come from his kit. It comes from Liandry's, it comes from Riftmaker, it comes from all these AP items that give you an innate boost to damage and Conqueror.